I'm Alistair, I'm the co-founder and owner of Isle of Skye Distillers.
And I'm Thomas, Alistair's brother, the other co-founder and owner of Isle of Skye Distillers.
We established 2016. We launched our Misty Isle first batch was May, January 2017. And then we launched our Tommy's Gin August of the same year, and our vodka 2018, December 2018.
Our products are made special because they're made here in the Isle of Skye, because to us provenance is everything. That's kind of what we've been important about to us from when we started the company. So it was never going to be a question making it anywhere else, where we could have done, but we waited and made it here because it has to be made and come from Skye. Otherwise, why call it, Misty Isle? That comes from Isle of Skye.
Family, provenance, quality.
They were all developed in the start before we launched the company was in a 1 litre still in my kitchen, and that's how we did it. So now we've got the gin school, we use the small stills there to do a bit of develop, and then we grade up onto the larger stills here and just go from there basically. There's a lot of trial and error goes into it. But when we launched Misty, we had 14 recipes to go back to the very first one that we designed. Is what's in the bottle now, because we kept looking for that. It's something extra, something special, which you're never going to get because every time you add something, oh that might work, adds a different flavour to it. Oh, what about this? That might work, and add something else. So
just minutely made it worse for 13 goes after.
Yeah.
So come back, blind tasting, and our first one was the one that came out on top. So we went with that.
Not really a hurdle, but when we started the company, the idea was to maybe do part-time, do a few thousand bottles a year, and as soon as we launched, it just went crazy overnight, so we had to give up what we were doing. We had a building business, had to stop that pretty much immediately. Alistair was working in Glasgow running restaurants and things, and Edinburgh and Aberdeen travelling, so we basically had to give up our lives as they stood pretty sharpish to put everything into this, because just the way it went, it became apparent it wasn't going to be part-time, so then we had to go. So that was a hurdle in itself, of changing your whole life for an idea that we thought would be a bit of a part-time hobby sort of thing.
And logistics, all the things about starting a company that you don't realise that people are going to pick at behind the scenes in a way, but that's life.
Excise duty.
Excise duty.
I think it's meeting all the other distillers. It's a very strange business to be in, where you can phone somebody else in a distillery and say, any chance you give me some advice, and everyone's more than happy to help, where you're technically in competition with the distilleries as well, but it's like one big family. It's very odd coming from businesses before where that doesn't happen. Everyone's out for themselves and that, whereas the gin industry seems to be different. Everyone's more than happy to help each other and get on board, and we've made a lot of new friends through it, so that's been a highlight. But also doing something that was technically, like I say, was going to be a hobby, to actually take it through to be your job now, which it doesn't feel like, it actually feels like work now, where before it was, when we first started, this is really exciting, great fun and that, and now it's like 2 o'clock in the morning still packing boxes to go out the door the next day. That's not fun, but it's part and parcel of it, But
creating the liquid's the exciting part for me now, but you asked me to put another label on a bottle after 50,000 probably now. I'm like, nah, they can wait for that order till Ian comes in and does it for me. But it's been lots of highlights.
It's also good seeing the public's reaction when they're tasting your spirit and that, and they enjoy it. And we're very upfront with people. Don't tell me it's good if it's not. If you don't like it, tell me, because not everybody likes everything. And if you tell me why you don't like it, then I can think about that for the next time we make something.
Suppose we come back to family. Mum gave us the ground here to build the distillery in the back garden. From Thomas's kids, my wife, Thomas's partner, but the whole island, to be honest. And that's one of the things, as long as it's made on Skye, the locals are behind you. So at some stage we probably can chalk up about 10 to 12,000 brand ambassadors we don't pay for, because if it's made on the island, they'll shout about it. You know, we've had some great support locally and far afield, because there's lots of people from Skye are all over the world and they shout about it in Australia and America and other places as well. So that's been great.
The success of us is because we're on the Isle of Skye. You know, we've got great products, we've got nice looking products. People like our products, they like the taste, they like everything about it, but I think the success of it is the Isle of Skye, because it is what it is, you know. So definitely the island support has been fantastic. You know, there's second to none in anything you do when you're from Skye. And when we tell people, you know, the distillery is built in the back garden of my mother's house, you know, they think, oh, distillery must be massive, your mother must live in a castle in Skye. You know, it's not. You know, it's as we are. You know, we're in the back garden of my mother's house. The house was our grandfather before that, our great uncles before that. He built it. You know, it's from the family home. The high school we went to is right behind us there. So
that's the new one right now.
Yeah, so it's fantastic. You know, the island is. I don't think if we'd had the island support, we'd be as successful as we are. They've really pushed it for us and taken us on board. You know, every pub and restaurant in Skye, hotel's got us there. You know, they're very supportive. You know, they push our products. Even new owners that come to the island, they come and meet us and they push it from there on. You know, so.
More of the same, pretty much. We're always developing something, because we do quite a lot with our gin school and a lot of people. So sometimes if we've got a spare still, we'll just put something on so people can see kind of what we do. So there might be a couple of other things come off the back of that.
We're that busy with Misty Isle on its own. We developed a vodka about a year and a half ago and just didn't have time to get it out there properly, because we don't rush things straight out. We get something and then we sort of means test it for about 3 months. So we'll stick it in the freezer, we'll stick it in the sunlight, we'll stick it in the dark on a heater or whatever, just to see what happens to it. And sticking to that process rather than going, oh, that tastes well, let's just stick it in a bottle and horse it out with a label on and see if we can make some sales is not what we're about. We had a liqueur made about 6 months after Misty Isle came out, and we thought, well, we'll go with that, and it wasn't really a market for liqueurs at that point, and we thought, well, let's not. Then liqueurs hit and everyone was making liqueurs, and we thought, will we? We'll just keep it on the shelf and see what happens. You know, we've had pink gin and colour gins, colour changing gins, all that stuff. We had them made about a year before they all suddenly launched out there, but we never pushed it. So we kind of look at it and go, do we miss the boat on things by sitting tight and not really going for it in that sense? But we don't want to sacrifice what was happening in Misty Isle for that next sale of something else, because that's our core product. That's what everyone seems to like, and that's what seems to win the most awards for us. So let's just stay on top of that. Let's not get too big for our boots too quick and be running all over the place trying to get sales of stuff, because then we'll end up with heaps of products all over the place without one main runner.
Yeah.
So
everybody's ordering one bottle of this and one bottle of that, or they're ordering nothing. So there's a lot of money and time and effort spent producing something new that won't get that shelf space because Misty Isle's already there or something else. So I think it's timing. We have missed a few already, but if we change and jump, we'll get it wrong. So we'll just carry on doing what we're doing and take it.
Yeah. So the future is we're looking to expand the distillery for possibilities of whiskey and rum production,
and spirit production.
Yeah, and spirit production. So we'll see what happens there. That's the sort of next plan, but more so for getting a Misty Isle around the world more. So export's what we're pushing at.
Well, I think we do it differently and probably do it better than most. I think Scotland is, we when it comes to alcohol, we seem to have a golden touch. It's about the people, it's about their families and the areas and things that are growing on the back door for the most part, which I think is what makes it great, to be honest.
Like Bill also says, we do it slightly different, so it transfers through to our liquid, and people like that. People enjoy the hospitality, they enjoy what we're about. You know, they enjoy our history because we've got a long history. So, you know, that brings them to enjoy our products as well. I think it's just Scotland in general, and Scottish people. We're very welcome, a very friendly race of people, and the rest of the world seem to buy into that. You know, people from all over the world travel to Scotland on their holidays every year. They're more than welcomed everywhere they go. So, you know, and people want to come here for food and drink. To me personally, in my opinion, Scottish gin has its own bracket and its own place in the world, but it's not recognised yet as that. You know, Scotland's renowned for its whisky, and when people come to Scotland and say, I've come for whisky, and then they realise gin's a thing at the moment, you know, they're quite surprised by that.
The mindset changes as well.
Yeah, well, the history of whisky obviously is massive, and that's what people recognise us for. But our gin, for some reason now in Scotland, was meant to be a flash in the pan, but it's holding itself strong now, and it's starting to creep onto the world stage. And I think more companies are realising that, you know, rather than just producing lots and lots of whisky, let's look at what else we've got. So Scottish gin in that sense is starting to rise to be its own thing in the world. So for me, it's fantastic. The more things that Scotland can produce and send out there to make Scotland what it is and promote Scotland's fantastic. But Scottish gin is Scottish gin made in Scotland, you know. So, you know, there's a lot of things come from the world, but that can be reproduced here, there, and everywhere in different countries. But made in Scotland's got its own name tag. So
from juniper, not girders.
People from Skye in general are very proud of Skye and very protective over it. So if you claim to be from Skye and you're not, or you claim to have a product from Skye and it's not from here, the local population don't get on board as much as other people do. So, you know, the provenance for us is that it's important that we made everything on Skye, and it's also important that what we did didn't jeopardise Skye and Skye's reputation, and, you know, didn't upset the local population that we're obviously part of in the communities and stuff, because we're very protective of Skye in the way it is, you know. So the provenance is important. If we didn't have local support, our company wouldn't be what it is. So if we had the options to make it somewhere else in Scotland, we were approached to do that, and we would have probably been out the door 3 years prior, but we felt that there was no way we can make something somewhere else in Scotland and call it a product from Skye, because then when we brought it home it'd be a very uphill battle to win back over the local people here, you know, and we would have had I wouldn't say backlash, but we wouldn't have had the support of, you know, it's made here. If we'd made it somewhere else, everyone would have said it's not made in Skye, you know. So I suppose it takes down the same route of other products that were made in Scotland, but then they outsource to somewhere else in the world because it's cheaper and stuff, and then Scotland doesn't get behind it, you know. That follows them of, well, it's not made here anymore, you know. So, and we're proud Skye people, we're proud Scottish people, so, you know, it's protecting that as a whole. It's why provenance is important, like, you know. So one of the main things about starting a business was something to pass on to our children. That's what our company's very much formed on family ethos and that. So that's what we're working for, is something to pass on to the next generation. You know, something to build, something to have in the future, like a legacy for us to pass on, you know.
We want to be exporting our products as far as we can take the Isle of Skye and our Misty Isle especially.
Scottish gin, where do we see that? Who knows? They said Scottish gin, the bubble's going to burst in the end of 2017. They said it will be dead by June in 2018, and it still goes from strength to strength. You know, every time you speak to someone in business advisor somewhere, they're saying, aye, it's coming, the ceiling's coming, but the ceiling is continually rising, you know, it's never stopping. He's talked about Scotch rum was going to be the next big thing, so we looked into doing that. It took a wee flurry, then it sort of stopped because gin was just too strong, you know, and I don't see Scottish gin stopping anytime soon. We can only go by the way things are for ourselves, you know, is that every year, you know, in our first year we made plenty of gin, we kept up with it, no problem, supply and demand was there. Second year was more than double, and our third year is way more than triple of what we had before, and it keeps getting bigger and bigger, you know, it keeps continuing. And soon I think it's going to have its own foothold in the world, the same as Scottish whisky has. So it's not going to be a flash in the pan where in 10 years time Scottish gin is virtually unheard of and Scottish whisky is still riding strong. I think it's there for good.
Okay, question 7. What's been the highlight of your gin journey so far?
Joining the gin cooperative.
Oh, you flatter.